I was on mute there for a second. What's up, people? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing good. Welcome. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you haven't done already, check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. You can find the link to that in the description below and also at the top of the chat. Chat with other traders, chat with myself, find out more information about Elevating Traders if you're interested. So if you are looking to become a part of the community, check it out. Like I said, completely free to join, the link in the description. And you can also find it at the top of the chat. But good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everyone is well. Lighten, what is up? Good to have you on the stream, my man. Hope you're well. Ahmed, welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing good. Let me just check if my mic is... Yes, it is. Okay. Before I do that again. But yeah, we'll go through, as always, what's up, CS Integrated? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. So we'll go through USD side of things first, take a look at the dollar, go through USD majors, and take a look at gold, silver. Of course, any requests, any trading opportunities, or any trades you want to share, or just any markets you want my thoughts and opinion, let me know in the chat. Of course, if you are looking at a specific time frame, let me know as well so I can be a bit of more use to you. But in terms of what I'm looking at in terms of the dollar, it's pretty much the same old. We did get some upside yesterday, but it looks like price may have already hit its top. I'm still hoping for a bit more upside before looking for opportunities, but we have come back to retest this low here. And I wonder if that is price now on its way potentially to see that upside. So with the dollar, it's looking pretty bearish right now. Again, the plan this week was upside and then continuation. I was looking for more upside than we have got so far. And potentially that could still be the case. I know we're looking pretty bearish now, but you could see price still turn around come New York session. So I'm not going to rule that out. But the plan was this week looking for some corrections for continuations for a push back into the prior low, which is this area here, which may be where price is headed right now. We'll have to wait and see. And as of the bigger move for the dollar, again, we still need to see a lot more downside for us to really break through some structure. So we're still seeing these bearish moves, which is great. But, you know, if we stay corrective and we don't break any major lows, we could still very much turn around and see a bigger bullish move. So I'm still staying wary of that because no major structure has broken yet. And that is my guiding compass in the market. I need price to respect or break structure in terms of my directional bias. So for now, still overall in a bullish market. However, we are seeing some nice counter trend plays. So it looks like the dollar has reacted pretty well to that low, and we're pushing back to the low there. So I'm going to see if that does persist, or if we do have one more correction in the tank before seeing some downside. That's really what I'm waiting on for the dollar. So if we go take a look at Euro USD, as we can see, we're having a slight effect as well. Price is seeing some upside, not as strong as what we're seeing with the dollar, but we are seeing a bit of a push to the upside. Price is reacting with this low. It isn't concrete, isn't really shaped up pretty well. So again, I'm kind of hoping to see if we can have one more push slightly further down, line up pretty well with this trend line confluence there as well. It would be nice to see a push into 1.036 area, 0.5, 0.35, and then look for some longs there. Again, the plan this week was still very much the price to take out this high here, and I'm still expecting that. And if everything goes well, we could probably see a push back into this level up here at 1.06 or just above it anyway. So still pretty bullish in euro. We're still putting in higher lows, and that is still very much the plan, looking for the next one. This is the area I'm looking at. We had price kind of break below that level there. It looks like it's trying to break back above, but altogether it wasn't very clean in terms of that retest. I'm looking to see if we can have slightly if price comes slightly further down before looking for any longs, and hopefully the dollar can push up slightly as well before we do really see that that follow through to the downside. But we'll have to wait and see. In terms of the analysis, though, in the direction, it is definitely bullish for euro, at least on the 4-hour chart anyway. And I'm looking at push back to the high there at 1.05271. So that's really where I'm at with Euro USD. Pound USD likewise, but this one just hasn't retraced enough for me to get excited just yet. Again, really nice bullish structure, higher highs and higher lows. The plan this week was again looking for another push to the downside, for another higher low to form, and some more upside. But all we've got this week pretty much is just sideways price action. So difficult to really find any opportunities on pound. At least Euro's done some retracement, but pound's just being incredibly flat. And in terms of where I'm looking to pick up some longs, I like this area here. Lovely support previously. Once, twice over there was acting as resistance pretty well. Once, twice over there as well. So it is a really nice level in terms of support and resistance. And should price come back there again, there's a good chance we could see price respect that and turn around. So I'm looking to see if we can come back, retest that level, retest the trend line as well. A very similar setup to Euro USD, which we just looked at, and looking for the next high low there as well. We got one over there, second, third, and looking for the fourth for again another push to the upside. So that's still very much the plan with pound. The only thing is that we just haven't retraced, and at this moment in time, we may not. We may kind of consolidate and just fly. So again, it's a waiting game. Price may or may not retrace there. And as a trader, you've got to have your setups where you want to see them. And it's up to price to come to you. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. In this case, we'll have to wait and see if it does come there. But that is the plan there for pound USD. Dollar CAD looking at a similar setup, but of course in the opposite direction. This one, I marked out this range here. I said it would be nice if price can come back, retest the range, look for entries in that area, then take dollar CAD to the downside. Now, again, it's still very much the plan there with dollar CAD. However, again, we're not quite there yet. We're not really coming back to test any key structure. So to me, dollar CAD's a little bit in no man's land right now. But in terms of the direction, as I've been saying all week and since last week as well, we're looking for a lot of downside. We've got massive support underneath us at 1.4. Looks like price could be drawn towards that area. Really nice consolidation. And we had that massive gap to the upside, followed by a very aggressive move to the downside. So that is kind of a characteristic of potentially a top to this bullish trend here. And now we could be going through some bearish structure. So very much focused on the shorts here with dollar CAD. As I said yesterday, this is really much, very much the area of interest to be looking for entries, as long as price doesn't break through it to the upside. So as long as we don't do something like this, I'm very bearish on dollar CAD. Just need to wait and see if we can get there for entries and targets. Keeping it simple back to the prior low, but we do have some further targets if you're looking to push trade a little bit further. Back to 1.4 looks pretty good as well, but that is very much the plan there with dollar CAD. Aussie dollar, pretty much looking at the same opportunity, but flipped. Oh, that's the wrong broker. There we go. Flipped, but again, I don't know. It looks like this one's already pushing off, to be honest. Looks like Aussie's pretty strong at the moment, and price is having some fun at the highs there. It's just taking out the highs there as well, and looks like we are continuing. This was the consolidation. Now looks like price is having another one and breaking to the upside there too. So with Aussie dollar, again, will we get the retest of the zone? It's hard to say. Price may give us a retest of this zone. That could be a bit more of an intraday setup. So I would suggest to keep an eye on that if you're looking at probably on the hourly time frame or below. There might be a nice setup there. All we can kind of see right now is that there's a lot of bullish momentum for Aussie dollar at the moment. Really strong move after we formed that double bottom. And you had a very strong impulsive move, consolidation, other impulsive move, consolidation. Perhaps we're going to get another one of those strong moves, and some pullbacks will look good for that. I still like the area here if price should retest that. It's still a nice opportunity should we get there. But at this rate, again, things are looking pretty bullish there for Aussie dollar. And I wonder if we're just going to let fly. So we'll see what happens there. In some of the directions, very, very much... I'm very much bullish on this one, so only really interested in the longs for now unless something drastic happens. But to me, it looks like Aussie dollar has more upside in the tank, and the next best opportunity might just be the retest of this range at 0.637. So keep an eye on that. New Zealand dollar, this one looks like it's trying to copy Aussie dollar as well. We're seeing some upside. I was hoping to see one more push down into this area. Again, not too sure if we'll get the opportunity. We had the interest rates decision for New Zealand dollar yesterday morning, and we had that strong reaction. I was kind of hoping if we could push down, take up those lows, and then push to the upside. We did have a move down, just not enough to go and test that area of confluence there. But again, in terms of direction, I'm expecting a push back to the highs there for New Zealand dollar. So if you can drop right down to the lower time frames, there might be some intraday 15-minute, 5-minute pullbacks to look to get involved to trade it back to the highs. Otherwise, it might just be an opportunity which we chalk off and look for the next pullback afterwards. And maybe something like this to come back and retest the highs could be a nice opportunity maybe sometime next week. But that bigger pullback in which we're looking for the retest of this area may probably not be happening anymore. But again, in terms of where we're located, I do expect to see a lot more upside if we well and truly do bounce from this level. As we can see, massive level of support here on the left, reacting very strongly there at the moment. So there is that possibility for a lot more upside if we're going to bounce at this weekly level. Likewise for Aussie dollar, likewise for dollar CAD as well, pound USD. We are trading at some big pivotal areas where we could see a lot of upside. So yeah, not getting into this pullback isn't the end of the world. There will be more opportunities. In terms of gold, it looks like this one is still trying to push to the upside. We've seen a bit more momentum about the high, so I'm liking it a lot more for gold because we were just about closing above yesterday during the stream. And I said I want to see a bit more momentum before I start becoming more bullish again on gold because, of course, we had that double top from last week. So if price is well and truly going to break through the resistance, I want to see a confident move above the high. And then that tells me that, okay, buyers are fully in control, pullbacks look good, and expecting more follow through. We've got the big psychological level 3K just above us here. Again, that could be where price is being attracted towards. And looks like now we're seeing a bit more of a confident break. It's not clear cut in terms of momentum and size of the candlesticks. I wouldn't be too surprised if you see a bearish candle come back in the zone. So I would want to see a bit more upside just for that overall kind of confidence in the move. Should we see that, then yeah, pullbacks look really good. We leave behind a really sturdy level of resistance, which will become support. So that'll be a really nice place for some long opportunities, just like what we got here. Nice double top there, once, twice, act as support very well. Nice push to the upside, looking for a similar pattern to repeat in that area at 29.40. And again, keeping it very simple. Yeah, take it back to the highs. Can always leave some positions to the trail just because it's gold and we don't know how far this could go. And 3K is not too far away as well. So yeah, very, very bullish on gold. Looks like that bullish trend is reinstating itself, but I just need to see a bit more upside before I start being interested in the pullbacks and the retest of the high there. But again, the current climate is just so bullish, kind of expecting it to happen anyway. So very, very bullish there for gold, and looks like silver is making its way as well. So silver, nice momentum this morning. Looks like it's breaking through resistance there and holding above it, which I think is pretty pivotal because if I go to the daily chart, it's actually a very big level of resistance, which last week we failed miserably trying to break through. As you can see, massive resistance once, twice, a third time, fourth. Then last week we got this really aggressive wick to the upside and price closed bearish. So that was a big red flag to me coming into this week. So in terms of looking to buy silver, I was very much pausing that bias just for now, just in case we don't sell off from there. But looks like price is breaking through to the upside. So if we're going to hold this momentum, then of course the next target for us is back at that high. So in terms of lower time frames, more specifically 4-hour time frame, if we can take up the highs there, that shows to me that okay, silver is very much back bullish again because we're breaking highs now. And of course pullbacks and more upside make a load of sense. And onwards and upwards for silver back to 34.8 and probably higher as well. But it looks like that daily level is breaking, so I think that's a very significant point now for silver. And yeah, we'll be expecting a lot more upside now. So looks like gold and silver back bullish again. Some very aggressive rejections on Friday, which definitely put me off long opportunities, but it looks like things are cleaning up right now. So hopefully in the next couple of days, could be looking at some silver longs, and maybe even this afternoon, if we do see some nice follow through, could be looking at some gold longs there as well. Excuse me. But yeah, overall pretty weak, pretty bearish bias on the USD for now. But yeah, I'm still hoping for a little bit more retracement, but we're not too sure if we'll get that. Anyway, where were we? Blessing, good morning. Hope you well. Euro JPY 4-hour time frame. Yes, we'll go through Euro again for you. No problem. Morning, Yusuf. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're well. Dark Sean, hope you're doing good. GJ slowly grinding down, but lacks momentum volume on the 5 minute. Hard to find entries. Okay, we'll have a look at that as well. Ahmed, check the DAX. Yes, we'll take a look. Got to sell, but doesn't look too good. Okay. I'll go take a look at Euro Yen on the 4H, then I'll go through GJ and the DAX. So it looks like we have some nice downside momentum for the Yen pairs. Euro Yen looks like it's just on its way, to be honest, and looks like it's just about to smash into the low here. So Euro Yen's pretty much done its job in terms of forming a lower high. Now coming back to retest the lows. Of course, as I've been saying forever, expecting a lot more downside than this for Euro Yen. Expecting this floor to break and a lot more downside in a really comfortable trend to form. So I'm expecting a lot more. So if we do finally get some breakouts, great. Then the plan will be next pullbacks and then more downside and so on and so forth. At the moment in time, there's not much to do because we're coming into support. I have a very bearish bias in Euro Yen, so it doesn't make sense for me to be looking to take any opportunities in this area. At least in the 4-hour chart anyway. So I'm very much just kind of stepping back from Euro Yen. The market is still bearish. We're still seeing momentum to the downside. We're still very consistent with the lower highs. So as long as that structure remains intact, very much just looking for the next one and the next one after that and so on and so forth. And that could take potentially a whole week to actually set up. So there's not really much for me to do for Euro Yen on the 4-hour chart. Lower time frames, there could still be some pullbacks to keep an eye out for because we still haven't taken out lows yet. I know we're coming back into support right now, so we might see a bit of a bounce there for Euro Yen, but I still expect us to take out these lows. So from a maybe hourly perspective, there could be some nice entries on a pullback, perhaps closer to these areas up there. That could be a nice place to look to get the next short. So as we can see, the lower highs building up. Could be looking to find the next one to take it back into the lows there. So from a 4-hour perspective, I don't really see much opportunity here because we've seen the swing. You know, it's the train's left the station sort of thing. So if we can see price go and break lows again and then give us another pullback, that would be great. And that's something I'll look at on the 4-hour chart. But intraday, I think there's still opportunity because we haven't taken out the lows yet. I'm still expecting price to go and do that. So a pullback within this bearish leg here, probably on the hourly or 30-minute chart, or probably even lower than that, probably can find some nice entries to take it back into the low here at 155.463. And then perhaps we can start looking at some 4-hour opportunities maybe next week as price starts to set up. But momentum is looking good. We're still seeing force to the downside, but a very aggressive retracement, which made things a bit awkward. But in fairness, we picked up momentum and price is looking pretty aggressive to the downside again as well. If this stayed corrective on the way down, that would be a bit of a red flag. But we picked up momentum in the past 24 hours, which is a good sign. So, yeah, I would say keep an eye on some intraday pullbacks for Euro Yen. It's still expecting more downside. We're at support now, so from a 4-hour perspective, doesn't make sense to take any entries. But maybe within a week, if you can break the lows well, find some more pullbacks, we could see some nice 4-hour setups. But I expect this to really tank, to be honest. Really comfortable trend, and I think we can come back to some areas down here pretty much even further as well. So could see a really nice bearish trend form, but you know, we still got support to break. So we'll wait for that to break first before getting into the targets in a bit in maybe a couple of weeks' time. Anyway, we'll go through pound yen. Hopefully that made sense on the 4-hour chart for Euro Yen. We'll go through GJ in the 5-minute. We'll take a look at the DAX as well. So no volume on the 5-minute according to Darkishon, looking a little bit choppy. Okay. Oh, so price really did let fly there. I think where were we last time? We were here somewhere, weren't we? Because price was breaking through the trend line. And yeah, on the 5-minute, we've absolutely tanked. So yeah, at the moment, momentum still to the downside. Still very much a bearish market right now. Looks like we're having a bit of a pause. So I suppose this is what you mean by a bit of a dead market right now because we're a bit flat there. I suppose if you can get a strong break of that, then you should be looking good again with pound yen because there's still a lot of momentum in the market. Price is still creating lower highs, and this is looking like potentially the next lower high on the 5-minute chart for a push back into the low. So should we see a comfortable break of that, that's probably the catalyst to really get us going. Of course, we might not. We might kind of continue to consolidate, which is the point you're getting at. But if this can go, then you should be looking at a nice little trade there. I like the last 5-minute candle close with some nice momentum, although kind of close into support. But if that can follow through in the next candle, could see a nice drop there pretty soon. But yeah, I understand where you're coming from. It is a bit flat there, but because we're taking some time at the high there, it's kind of a bit of a sign that says, okay, prices from a buyer's perspective can't really see much more upside. So I would expect us to continue down, especially because there's so much momentum in the market, bearish momentum in the market at the moment. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. If we can break to the downside, then I think you're looking pretty good. At least the push to the low there, 188.84, 814. From a 4-hour perspective as well, I do think we've got more downside, at least looking for price to come back and hit support. So on the 4-hour chart, looks like we've got more downside anyway. There might be a bigger pullback in store. Maybe price wants to come back and retest some support here. That could be a possibility. But in terms of direction, I do expect us to hit 187.5. So I think there's more downside to be had with GJ. So I would stay short bias for now, unless something drastically changes. And I think realistically, a push to that low looks good. So yeah, I quite like the position, to be honest. I like the chart, what we're seeing right now. Sure, it's a little bit flat, but if we can commit to the downside, of course, maybe that's a big if. But if we do, then yeah, I think price is going to go and smash those lows, which I suppose is where your target is at. Okay, let's go take a look at the DAX. Okay, so the DAX is okay, so yeah, we did have a very aggressive sell yesterday. I remember looking at the DAX yesterday. I think we were trading down here, and I said, watch out for that bearish candle closure, because if it does close very aggressively, it might be a sign that not necessarily putting a top to the DAX, but it could be an area where we start to have a bit of a counter trend, bit of retracement, and of course, price potentially could go higher. But it was a very, very aggressive sell off, these two bearish candles, and we closed pretty aggressively there. So going forward now with the DAX, if we can put a lower high in, some shorts afterwards will look pretty good, because there's a lot of momentum in the market. This looks very corrective on the way up. And I wouldn't want to be looking to short the first lower high, just because I know that the overall trend is still very, very bullish. And I don't want to be in the position where I'm shorting just to see price continue that swing, which it very could easily do. But if we put a low high in and price breaks the low, then the next lower high afterwards would make a load of sense. And that becomes a nice counter trend opportunity, which we can short, take it back into its low, and probably call it a day there, just in case we turn around. But yeah, the DAX, very aggressive push to the downside. I would say it's coming into a point where it looks like we could see some downside now for the DAX. Again, looking at retracement, the market is very, very stretched, hasn't had a much of a retracement since arguably this move here, or you could say this really aggressive move there as well. But I do think we're coming to a point where it's time to retrace. But like I said, not looking for the first lower high. It's kind of similar situation to this, really heavy sell, and the market kind of just ripped to the upside, just continued. Here again, really heavy sell. Potentially the market could just rip to the upside and continue. So not looking to try and get in that first lower high, especially in a market like this. I'm not saying you shouldn't take the first lower high in general, but when you got an indice which is flying high and very, very much in a bullish climate, trying to catch that first lower high is always aggressive trade. The next lower high after that, you can be a bit more secure, because at least your price is forming some lower highs in your favor. So waiting for price to put that first lower high in and then looking to catch the second is a nice opportunity to look at. Because at the moment, the market is still bullish, even despite these two very aggressive bearish candles on the 4-hour chart. the market is still very bullish. It just might be we have a bit of a retracement for us to continue higher. Perhaps price comes back and retests some structure. So still very, very bullish on the DAX, but judging those aggressive candles to the downside, that is a bit of a sign to me that says, okay, the market might be looking to retrace now. So I'd wait for that first low high to print, break the lows, and then capitalize on the second one. And of course, if price just rips to the upside again, then we're very much in a bullish trend. And I'll just suggest just keep an eye on those intraday pullbacks and keep riding momentum. But yeah, the market is very, very extended. So I do think the DAX is zero retracement. What's up, Sultan? Good morning. Good morning. I hope you are doing good. What's up, Ross? Hope you're well. Can you look at Euro Aussie looking for a sell entry? I believe it could be big. Okay, let's take a look at Euro Aussie. Okay, so Euro Aussie looking for a sell could be a bit. Oh, okay. Euro Aussie. I haven't actually looked at this one since the stream yesterday. So I believe we were trading here-ish. So I was like, okay, price can break support, things get interesting, and we have broken support. So I am definitely bearish, a very bearish bias as well with Euro Aussie. Looks like price has just come back to respect the high there and has done it very, very well. We've been consolidating for a few days in this area, and it looks like price is committing to the downside. So in my book, looking for a push back into the low there at 1.6. And since we are breaking the lows there, I do think a bit of a bearish trend can form, and a pretty big move can happen as well back to the lows. So I'm kind of with you in terms of looking for a big bearish move. Targets for me around 1.6. Where are you looking for your move to get to as well? You're looking for the same area, or do you have different targets? But in terms of my analysis, I would be expecting a lot more downside. Major resistance over there, failed to break through over there, and it's held again very well over there. And now we've got the green light that price is breaking the consolidation. This looks like it was just a very deep retest of the range, and now we're seeing the follow through. So the next opportunity now with Euro Aussie would be another lower high. So of course we've got one over there which created that lovely bearish move. Then prices create a second one. So now the plan would be looking for a third one, another lower high, and then the continuation. And perhaps that could just be the retest of the low. That would be a really nice place for a short. So if I just refine that to the low of the range there, so very key support. Price, of course, hasn't really respected it much since the breakout, but perhaps we do come back and respect it, see that next lower high, and find some shorts in that area on the retest of that level at 1.65. And that could be a really nice entry to hold, again, at least back to the swing low, which is wherever that forms. Again, this is very hypothetical, but let's say if it does form here, that would be your target for the trade. But again, higher time frames look good, and you can always leave some positions to run for some extended targets, because if price is not going to break through the high here, we've already tested this support 3 times. So it's clearly in a level which price is really attracted to and really respecting very well. And because we failed to break structure to the upside, most likely wouldn't come back and test support again. The only thing is the market is very, very choppy. So looking to hold back down to the low could be tricky because price might fluctuate a lot, tag you out the trade or tag your trading stop loss before seeing the continuation. It's not a very smooth moving market right now. So again, like I said, I would suggest to take most of your profit at the low, then leave some positions to run, small positions to run in case we do see that extended move. But in terms of the quality of the setup on the 4-hour chart, I think it looks really good. And okay, the same area, Ross. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think it does look really good. And pullbacks would be great back into 1.65. The key thing was breaking through support, and now we've done that. So price to me has shown its hand, shown which way it wants to go. Now it's about finding the pullbacks necessary to trade this. Manzondi, what is up? I hope you're well. Do you think the outcome of unemployment claims will apply a little pressure to USD index to the downside? Yes, it would do. It would do. I mean, depends on what the numbers are, but it would do. Unemployment claims is Again, it's not the biggest news event. The big three for me is NFP, Fed interest rate, and CPI. But unemployment claims is also can be a big one as well. I'm still very bearish on USD, at least for the next few days. I'm not too sure about long-term bias. That's still up in the air a little bit for me, but I'm still looking USD bearishness, at least for the remainder of this week, probably next week as well. It depends how we close. I'll explain that on the weekly analysis. But yeah, when's the news? 1:30 UK time. So yeah, numbers bet to go up as well. So yeah, I do think that could give us a little bit more downside there for USD. We'll see what the actual numbers are, of course, but it does look like we probably could see a bit more weakness from that as well. So yeah. What's up, Will? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. What is up? What is up? Hope you are well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You still looking at the yen pairs? Yen pairs have definitely left me in the dust a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. They have sold off pretty well. Well, not pretty well. It was a weird sell-off, to be honest. They're picking up momentum now, so it looks good. But before it was very, very corrective, and it's a very, very choppy move. But they're picking up the pace right now. So we had a look at that pound yen, and that one had a very aggressive push. Didn't really waste too much time there. Had a bit of a corrective move down, and now it's been pushing pretty hard. So looks like pound yen's going to push back into support. We had a look at euro yen as well. Very, very bearish move. Again, it started off very bullish, and then price kind of just stopped on the dime and came crashing back down. So it's difficult to find an entry for that. But hey, now we're back at support, and price looks like it's going to break through some lows again, which is now what I'll be looking for to get into a trade, because as I've been saying with the yen pairs, expecting a lot more downside. So the next opportunity would be something that looks like this, and taking some more shorts back into the prior low, and so on and so forth. Looking at some other yen pairs as well. Swiss yen, looks like that one's loving life too. Really nice moves to the downside, back into the lows. So as we can see, it looks like we got a lot of yen strength last night as price picked up momentum. We've been falling to the downside since last week, but it's been a very corrective move. Pretty much all the yen pairs are kind of slowly pushing down, but now we picked up the pace, which is good, because if price is going to have the reverse I've been expecting, we need to really pick up momentum. We can't just stay slow forever. Otherwise, it'll probably turn into a bullish move. So we've got to pick up the pace at some moment in time. And again, for Swiss yen, we're coming back into very, very critical support right now. Should we see price break through this comfortably, again, I think the floodgates will open, and we could see Swiss yen really tank to the downside. So in my book, it could be the start of something pretty big here for the yen pairs, keeping a very close eye on that. And I'm liking the momentum we're finding now. Price is starting to push to the downside, coming back into support. We haven't broken through it yet, but I would expect us to do so. And should we break through that kind of neckline on the daily chart, because that is our kind of neckline for this head and shoulder pattern, left head, right shoulder. So that's your neckline. If you can break through that, then yeah, I do see us falling pretty far. So just looking at pullbacks afterwards, and just taking it as far as we can, trading stops, seeing where we can take it. But very, very bearish on Swiss yen. Dollar yen has been bearish for the past couple of weeks. That was just kind of been slowly falling to the downside, difficult for entries initially, but now we've taken up the lows there for dollar yen as well. So dollar yen to me is just looking very, very bullish, very bearish. Sorry. We are coming back into bullish territory, which is what I meant to say. So again, being a bit careful about shorting here. I do expect us to break through, but at the same time, I've got to respect what price is doing. I did not mean to do that. Got to respect what price is doing, which is trading in an area where we did find a lot of momentum to the upside. So although structure is still technically bullish for the dollar yen, we still saw a low down here, high, low, well, higher low in comparison to the previous low. Of course, a higher high there. So technically speaking, we could still do something like that for dollar yen, but I'm not interested in that move at all. I'm interested in this move, a big sell to the downside, and I'm looking for a push back into the lows here. But for me to be looking at sells again, I kind of need price to take out this low. As that low is, of course, what gave us that push to the upside. So if price does break through that, that is a very strong signal that tells me, okay, bullish structure invalidated, bearish structure in play, and expecting us to push all the way back down to 141 and probably a lot further as well. But for now, that's the major level of support we're going to be attracted towards. So very, very bearish on dollar yen as well. Lovely break of structure, momentum's picking up, lovely swing highs now as well. So just looking at more of the same. And once we break structure, I'm expecting some big, big drops there for dollar yen. I think the yen pairs all kind of poised up for some big moves. So just staying patient and making sure that we don't jump the gun with some of these trades. But yeah, in terms of direction, pretty bearish for most of them. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with dollar yen. And the only reason why I was saying that is because the whole US federal government is under review with it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I suppose because if that's going to impact the USD a lot more because of that, then of course. But I'm just looking in terms of just the claims going up, which of course is not good news for the USD. But even despite that, my technical outlook is still very bearish as well for the US for the dollar as well. So if the news comes out favors that, then that's of course going to give it an extra boost. What's up, Holy One? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Took the laptop back. Okay, for enter the pound code buy while the till holding the receipt. The beautiful iPhone, 100% the beauty of iPhone. Wow. I suppose that that laptop lasted the whole um, didn't last the whole 24 hours there. But yeah, I mean, again, it depends whatever works for you. Some people can trade from phone, some people can't. I know I wouldn't be able to do to trade from my phone. I mean, I do look at my phone in terms of taking entries, but it's because I've already done my analysis on my computer, so I can enter my phone because I already know what I'm looking at. But yeah, in terms of doing the whole thing, my phone, I would very much struggle. But of course, if it works for you, you save money on a laptop as well, because you go spend that elsewhere. But yeah, that is quite funny though. Bought the laptop and then sending it straight back. That is funny. Um, okay, so yeah, we'll go through some more of the yen pairs. Yeah, exactly. Especially when you've been doing it for a while as well. It's you've been trading from your phone for a long time, haven't you? So you're very, very much used to it. So Aussie yen's still not looking that great. All the other yen pairs have picked up momentum pretty well, but Aussie yen hasn't moved too well. I expect to eventually pick up the pace and make the move, but it's been a very slow one. I mean, it had a bit of a sell last night, but compared to the other yen pairs, structure looks a lot cleaner over there, and momentum looks a lot better as well. But I do expect us to eventually come back to this wick low, so I'm still expecting a lot more downside for Aussie yen. If I measure that distance from the level to there, still a 500 pip move, so still a lot of opportunity there. Should we pick up the pace? Could be some nice pullbacks. I did say if we can get pullback into this area like so, that could be a nice place for a short. You've got those lower highs, nice push to the upside. That looks like a nice place to get into an entry, take it back into the low, so on and so forth. So that would be the plan there for Aussie yen, but looks like it might just keep falling, to be honest. So unfortunately, might not get the trade there, but hopefully the next pullback afterwards. 6.5 years, wow. 6.5 years from the phone. So yeah, again, you're a phone expert at this point in time. When you put in time like that with the phone, then yeah, I can see why you don't need the laptop then. I can see why. Oh, what's up, Lord? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So yeah, with Aussie yen, if we do get that bigger pullback, I'll be interested. If not, then I'll wait for the next leg after we break the lows and get the next pullback. New Zealand yen, pretty much the same situation as well. We've got price creating new lows as well, and looking for us to push back into this kind of area before shorting, close to the trend line, and of course, targets back into the low there, and eventually looking for price to go and take out the wick low, which is this point over here at 83. So still very, very bearish on New Zealand yen. Again, all the yen pairs are pretty much expecting more downside, so that's still very much the plan. And looking for us to go and take out the lows there as well. CAD yen, that one's being fallen to the downside very aggressively too. This one's looking very bearish and looks like that head and shoulder pattern on the daily chart is starting to come into play. So you got the left head, right shoulder. This is kind of like your neckline area. And if that can break, well, we should see a pretty comfortable bearish move there for, oh, did not mean to do that, for CAD yen, and we'll be expecting a push back into the lows there. So the way I see it, there's a lot of downside in store for these yen pairs, and it's just about timing the entries well. And depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for kind of intraday trades, there could be quite a few of them. If you're looking for a big swing, there's definitely going to be a couple of those in the next few weeks as well. So keep an eye on that. And if I look at the JPY basket, I bet that's looking very bullish. It is indeed very strong move to the upside. So I was looking to see if you can get one more push to the downside, but price had a correction yesterday and it just flew to the upside. It's back at resistance now, but I do expect us to break through. It's a decent level once, twice, but I'm expecting us to push all the way back to 772.58. And if we can get a break of this, probably be another pullback opportunity. So again, we'll keep an eye on that relative to the other yen pairs. Because if this has a bit of a correction, so will other yen pairs most likely. That will provide some nice opportunities, and then we can take it back into the high. But yeah, it looks like momentum's slowly picking up. Prices form this lovely kind of rounded bottom here for the yen basket. So the odds of us pushing back to the high are very, very high, ironically. And yeah, the yen pairs are most likely going to move in the opposite direction. So it's just about finding good entries and taking those positions. So hopefully we can find some pullbacks afterwards, and we'll see how price can get going. What's up, Holy One? You're in trades. Yeah, I'm still holding on Aussie CHF, not moving well at all. Price is almost taking me out for a loss here. We're holding on to some resistance for dear life. This trade I took last week Tuesday or Wednesday, last week Wednesday, and yeah, price just moving sideways on me. So I haven't taken any new positions since then. I've been focusing a lot on the yen pairs and the USD pairs, but they haven't retraced enough for me, unfortunately. So I've been on the sidelines since then. But yeah, this trade is not going to plan at the moment. But we'll see what happens. If it does stop me out, risk is managed, so it's not the end of the world. But the confluence is good. We're in a really nice location for a low high to form relative to the past couple of highs prices formed. Had a really aggressive reaction at the high, and we tested the 0.618 of the fib. So was looking for a push into the low there. We'll see if price can remain underneath that level or not. But yeah, since last Wednesday, I haven't found any new positions. Like I said, yen pairs will look very good, but they just haven't pulled back. And then the USD pairs as well. Closest one to give me an entry was New Zealand dollar, but that was at night as well. That was after the interest rate decision. But even that one just missed my level as well. So haven't found an entry there to take either. So it's been a pretty slow one. Aussie CHF is crazy. Again, that's the CHF pairs for you. They can consolidate quite a lot and they move pretty slow. Occasionally they'll give you some really nice clean moves, but yeah, they do move a little bit slower. So, and I know a lot of people who don't like trading CHF because of that reason, and that's a very valid reason. Especially if you're paying negative swap as well on the way down. Currently very strong buys indicate pointing up. Yeah, if it does break to the upside, I'll stop out and I'll move on to the next position, but it's not looking good at all. The original level I was looking for price to respect isn't playing ball, and looks like the trend line price is starting to break through that as well. So the price breaks through that resistance, my stop loss is just above it, so I'll look to exit that trade there. But I was keeping an eye on quite a few of the yen pairs. I only traded Oz CHF because, of course, they will all do the same thing really. So I was going to get into all of them, but New Zealand CHF came into a nice point for a short yesterday as well. Again, only a minor reaction, didn't really do too much. And well, I'm still looking for pound CHF to break out, but that's still at the top of the range. CAD CHF, that one's still more or less at the top of its range as well. Looks like that one's trying to break to the upside, but not really doing too well either. I mean, it's been a pretty choppy ride for the CHF pairs the past few months, actually, to be honest. It hasn't really been moving well since the drop in July. Most of the yen pair, CHF pairs have been pretty flat. Same with the yen pairs to a degree as well, but there's been some better moves there. CAD CHF also very flat as well, and Euro CHF struggled to break to the upside as well. So I am still bearish overall in the CHF pairs, but if we do see Aussie CHF break to the upside, we probably would see New Zealand CHF break to the upside as well. So this one probably break to the upside too. And if that happens, then I'll probably start to back away a little bit. I'll still have that bearish bias, but I wouldn't have a clean-cut trade to take. So I'll wait to see how price moves and develops. Maybe you see a bit of a counter trend move to the upside. Or maybe things develop and we see a major lower high form. But at the moment, not looking particularly great in CHF pairs. I think CHF is a little bit weak anyway as well. And I wonder, I wonder if that CHF will stay weak with USD as well. Because USD, CHF, and yen, they tend to move in similar directions. Yen at the moment is pretty strong. USD at the moment is pretty weak. CHF is pretty weak. And I wonder if they'll all become weak together, all become strong together. Okay, Rex, I will go through pound USD. Afonso in dollar CHF entry. Okay, we'll have a look at that as well. Let me just go through pound USD. Oh, did not mean to do that. So yeah, pound USD I'm pretty bullish on. I've been looking for a pullback for this one. This is another setup I'm looking at this week, but it just hasn't really retraced, to be honest. We've just been moving pretty sideways, as we can see there. So very, very flat indeed, but I still do expect more upside. We've had these really nice high lows, 1, 2, 3, 4. Looking for another opportunity to take this to the upside, at least back to the highs, because pound USD, not necessarily will be looking at such a big move, but things have changed. We've gone from a pretty bearish structure. Now price is putting in some higher lows and higher highs. We've also respected the very pivotal area of demand, very strong push to the upside, which created new highs past this point. So this is a very, very important piece of structure, which we have respected well. So it could be the start of a pretty big move for pound USD should we respect that level. And of course, should dollar tank to the downside too. However, at the moment, with pound USD, we need to see a bit of a pullback. Otherwise, the market's just going to stay in the range. Might just break to the upside like so as well, which could present some nice opportunities in the pullback afterwards on an intraday level. But from a swing point of view, this is really where my confidence lies there for pound. So 1.25 was a really lovely support level and resistance level for pound recently. So if we were to get there again, there's a good chance price will react and possibly see another follow through to the upside. Of course, waiting for confirmation before jumping in. But we've been pretty consistent with the higher lows. We're coming back from a really strong area on the daily / weekly chart as well. So there is a lot of arrows pointing to the upside here for pound. Now it's just about finding some pullbacks for the entry. But like I said, that's the only bit that we probably might not get. Maybe pound just breaks to the upside here. But yeah, very, very bullish on pound USD, looking for some pullbacks to take it higher. In terms of dollar CHF, Afonso still in silver, £2 yen. Pound JPY hit my TP 150 pips. Nice, congratulations. We'll go take a look at silver. Let me just go through dollar CHF on. I'll look at it on the 4-hour chart, but I think your entries might be a bit more intraday. So I suppose you are. Right, so I suppose you're selling, but is there a typo with your stop loss? Is that supposed to be 0.99569? Entry 0.99202? Or was that 90202? Sorry. So there's a typo of your entry. 90202. So that's more or less around there. And your stop loss 0.90569. So that is just above the high here. And take profit 89,302. That's down here. So yeah, looking good in terms of the risk reward. I like it. I'm pretty bearish on dollar CHF as well. Yeah, I've been looking for price to break through the support level first before getting into any trades, just because I want to see that momentum breaking through the low. We've had a nice double top in. In fairness, we have been putting some lower highs, so it looks like price is getting ready to reverse. But I've been waiting for us to actually reverse first, and then I'll start to look for some pullbacks. But of course, there's nothing wrong about getting into the position a little bit earlier. And trying to catch that breakout. But yeah, judging where price is trading from on the higher time frames for dollar CHF, going back into major resistance, and looks like we are about to reverse from there. So I do have a very bearish bias for dollar CHF. As I've said, I'm waiting for price to break through support first. If we were to pull back, I wouldn't mind some shorts closer to this area where we've been putting that lower high in. That would be a nice place for a short. So the pullback for me, I would like it to be a bit bigger, but it does look like things are turning around. Price is breaking out of some support on the lower time frames. If I drop to the hourly chart, looks like we are about to clear this level of support. So that's a bit of a green flag, at least for the bears anyway. Looks like we are breaking through support there. So I would have wanted the bigger pullback there before shorting, or of course wait for the breakout first and then get the pullback. But yeah, I'm pretty bearish on dollar CHF, and I do expect more downside. I think it targets in a reasonable place as well, back at the low or the high here. Sorry, I would suggest to maybe contemplate taking some partials or maybe removing some risk as price gets that low. Because if price was to turn around, it probably would be from the low here, and that could be a bit of a nuisance to your trade there. So I'd watch out for the low. But yeah, in terms of risk reward, looks pretty good. I like the entry. Only thing I would have wanted for this position if we had a slightly deeper pullback. But we'll see. Sometimes you wait for the deeper pullback, but then price doesn't give you the deeper pullback because all you get is a shallow one and price continues. So, you know, waiting for the deeper pullback, you'll miss some trades, you'll catch some trades, but you miss some of the shallow ones. But yeah, that's the only thing I would have preferred with this trade here. But yeah, in terms of direction, expecting sells as well. Really nice drop with that momentum. So expecting basically a pullback and some follow through. But yeah, I'd watch out at the low at 0.89750. That could be a little bit of a bit of a dodgy place for you. Anyway, we'll go through silver. That's looking pretty bullish, isn't it? Damien, what's up? Good morning. Hope you're well. Yes, we'll take a look at Aussie dollar for you. No problem. Okay, take care, Will. Have a good one, my man. We'll catch you on the next one. Yes, we'll take a look at the DAX as well. Let me just go through silver quickly. So yeah, silver's still looking pretty bullish. We broke through resistance very well on the daily chart with some solid daily candle closures. So if I mark it on, So as we can see, really strong resistance here on the daily chart. Once, twice, third time, and a fourth time. And now it looks like price is breaking to the upside. So if that's the case, I'm expecting us to push back to the next high, which is 34.862. So I'm very, very bullish there on silver and expecting a lot more upside. I think your target for silver is like 34.14, something like that. 34.14, which is pretty much there actually. So we're not too far away from your targets. And I think now that we've got the close above the level and the retest as well in the lower charts. So 4-hour chart, we've broken through and have had a successful retest, or at least successful so far. It does look like we are poised to go and take out these highs here and really ready to let fly. So silver to me looks really good. I have to admit. If we can take out the highs there, see a candle closure above that, I think that's really the green flag for a lot more upside, because we did break through resistance last week, but we came crashing back down. So this is a bit of a dodgy place where we might start to struggle a little bit, maybe consolidate. So I would watch out for the high there, but should we break through, then I'm expecting a lot more upside and a push all the way back to 34.86, which is the next key swing high there on the daily chart. So yeah, very, very bullish there for silver. Now that we've broken through 32.5, I feel like it's the odds of us getting to the next high are pretty high now. As long as you don't come crashing back down for whatever reason, I would expect us to go and take up the high. So yeah, if we can find some pullbacks in silver, probably find some additional trades in your sake, Afonso. But I think silver looks really, really bullish now. It looks like gold's following suit as well. Gold was a little bit dodgy on Friday as well with that double top, but it looks like we're breaking to the upside. So more upside for gold on a retest of that level. I would, however, want to see a slightly bigger breakout first before looking for pullbacks, but it is starting to look pretty good there as well. Okay, so I'll go through Aussie dollar and the DAX next. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out the streams, helps out the channel, and I do really appreciate it, guys. And if you could subscribe as well, it does really help out too. And of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams we'll upload in the future. But I do appreciate everyone who has liked and subscribed to the channel. It does really help out. Yeah, with Aussie dollar, I'm pretty bullish bias as well with this one, looking for a really big move to the upside. This one has been taking its time to get going. We've reacted at a very, very strong low. As you can see, major support down the left, now turn resistance. And looks like price is having a really aggressive turnaround. So the way I see it, really powerful support. Price come back to retest it again and has really rejected that very, very aggressively and broken structure to the upside. We took out highs there, but that failed. We took out highs this time. It looks like this one's a bit more successful. So now looking at pullbacks and more upside for Aussie dollar. Originally, I said coming into the week, looking for the retest of this range here for some more upside. However, it doesn't look like we're quite getting that. We've still got the consolidation here. So if price was to have a strong break of that, which looks like we could be witnessing that currently, if that does keep it up, and pullbacks and retests of that range becomes something to look at, maybe a bit more on an intraday time frame, like an hourly or 30-minute time frame for some entries. But in terms of direction, very much onwards and upwards, expecting a lot more upside. I don't really have clear-cut levels to target, or at least where I'm targeting. So I'll probably just look at these highs on the left here as areas where to take profits from. But yeah, in terms of direction, expecting a lot more upside down for Aussie dollar. So yeah, very, very bullish on this one. Very bearish on USD. Looks like we've got more upside in the tank. And I'll just keep an eye on retests of these ranges for entries. Okay, so we'll take a look at the DAX. Yusuf, yes, we'll go through your USD for you. Malanvo. Hope I'm saying your name properly, but probably not. Pound USD and Euro, yes, we'll take a look. Let me go for the DAX. So yeah, with the DAX, a very aggressive move to the downside. So I'm actually looking at a bit of a counter trend now for the DAX because this is a very aggressive move here. Very, very aggressive move to the downside, which started yesterday, and anticipating more of the same. However, I would recommend waiting for that first low high to form first, perhaps maybe on the retest of this level, and then we look at some follow through underneath. But overall, I'm looking at a bit of a counter trend to form because we are so overextended to the upside. The trend's been so strong for a while. We had a really aggressive sell not long ago, but price just ripped to the upside. And that is why I'm suggesting waiting for the second lower high before looking to get involved, just in case we don't rip to the upside again, see more upside as the trend continues. But if you do put a lower high in and then break to the downside, then the probability of that next lower high forming is actually far greater, because at least at that point we've actually got some structure in our favor. So looking to see if we can form a lower high and continue down, and then capitalize on some shorts, and of course catch the next swing. In terms of the trend, it's still very much up, so I'm still very much bullish on the DAX. But judging price action, how we've formed at the high there, it does look like we could expect to see a bit of a counter trend move. So looking for some retracement for the DAX, but nothing quite mapped out yet. So waiting for more candlesticks, and hopefully you can find an entry soon. In terms of Euro USD, very bullish on this one as well. I've been looking for a slightly deeper retracement before taking the buy, but I am looking for a push back into the high here at 1.05334. That is still very much the plan, and I'm looking for a push back into the high there afterwards at 1.06. So the way I see Euro USD right now is that I'm expecting a lot more upside. We've got these prior high lows. Well, we actually got the first one over there. We formed this high low over there as well. As you can see, we're slowly pushing to the upside. We've got some bullish structure to follow, and the plan very much is looking for the next high low in that leg for more upside. So this really here is the area of interest there for Euro USD. I did say I was looking at the retest of the high as well, but it hasn't really mapped out how I wanted it to in terms of the reactions of the candlesticks, and the entry signals haven't really formed or tick my box as well. So I'm looking to see if we come a little bit deeper back into this area of demand along with the trend line, and find a higher low in regards to that area. And then, of course, like I said, targets back to that high, and then potentially that high as well. And what I like about Euro USD is that we do have this kind of not double bottom, but this kind of rounded bottom shape here, which is very, very powerful pattern, especially at the lows or tops of trends. And they do normally indicate reversal. So I'm liking how price is shaping up. It's a very kind of slow turn of events, which is like price slowly becoming bullish. So I do really like the buys now, especially with these high lows being pretty consistent. So with Euro USD, I think there's a very high chance we do get back to resistance up at 1.052 and 1.06. Just about timing the entries very well. I would like to see one more push down first before going long, but that is pretty much what I'm interested in. Pound USD likewise as well, as I just went through, price coming back into a very nice area on the daily chart. Massive swing low here, which gave us a swing high. We came back to retest the same area, and now we're seeing bullish structure from that same zone. So as you can see, we're seeing higher highs and higher lows, and we have left behind some really nice structure for a retest. We've got some very key support once, twice, and resistance once and twice as well. So it's a nice level of support and resistance. Price has respected it on numerous occasions on both sides. So it's definitely an area which the market has paid a lot of respect to. So if pound USD would be kind enough to come back and retest that level at 1.25, that'll be a great level to long from. And of course, we've got some confluence with the trend line there too. We've got these prior high lows, 1, 2, 3, and looking at them before. And yeah, keeping it relatively simple, push back to the highs, didn't necessarily have extended targets, which I'm looking at. Similar to Euro USD, where I'm expecting price to get to 1.06. Pound USD, I'm kind of just taking it step by step. I mean, there is the high there, but I wouldn't say that's a sure banker like Euro. Euro looks a lot more likely we'll get there. I think for pound, just keep it simple, back to the high, and you got yourself a nice trade opportunity there as well. So yeah, pound USD, definitely something I'm very bullish on, looking at a lot more upside. DXY, I'm pretty bearish on this one as well. It looks like the XYs are already falling to the downside pretty aggressively. I said earlier this week I was looking for a slightly greater retracement before the continuation. This kind of zone here was where I was looking to short from. Looks like the break and retest of that low has been enough for price to actually see that downside move. So yeah, the dollar is still looking pretty bearish. If the dollar persists and continues like this and we end up taking out these lows, then I'll be very, very bearish on the dollar for the foreseeable future, really, because that would be breaking structure. So I would not be looking at the trend continuation of this anymore, and just purely focus on this. But I am anyway just focusing on that a lot now. So this would be a nice little level to short from. But yeah, it looks like the dollar just doesn't have enough energy to get there. It's looking very bearish right now. We've already broken through a counter trend line on the low time frames. If I drop to the hourly chart, as you can see, we've broken through that counter trend line. So it does look like the dollar is now getting ready for a swing back to that low there. So that bigger retracement may not happen anymore. But yeah, if you're looking for bigger retracements, there will be many occasions where you do miss the more shallow opportunities, the more shallow retracements. Yeah, that's just the reality of it. But again, the idea about waiting for deeper corrections and deeper retracements is that you want to get into the market a little bit later than everyone else, which means, yes, you'll miss some moves, but you'll catch some really nice highs, really nice lows where people would have been stopped out a few times, and then you get into the trade and you capitalize on the big swing. And that's the whole idea about entering a little bit late, is that people who get in early and they will be stopped out, and then when you get in, you catch the move. So you're taking advantage of bigger risk reward trades, you're taking advantage of clean entries as well. But there will be times where people get in early who, of course, do profit from that move because the pullback just wasn't going to be very big on that occasion. And of course, this is kind of a situation where that's happening right now, where we've had a bit more of a minor pullback, prices retest the low. It looks like that's been enough for us to continue down. So yeah, dollar looks like it's going to push back into the lows. Perhaps we do get that bigger pullback, so keep an eye out for that. It's not definitely ruled out yet, but it looks like we're seeing that move happen. So yeah, looking at the other USD majors, again, I still do have some areas which I'm looking for price to get to. Dollar CAD, I'm still looking for a push back into 1.426. But if USD is going to fall, then we're probably going to see dollar CAD just drop as well. So no kind of opportunity there for me either. I mean, there's some really nice support here for dollar CAD. It would be very nice to see price come back and retest that. But at this moment in time, we probably won't get that pullback if USD is just going to be very, very weak. We'll see what happens this afternoon. Maybe things change around, but it does look very, very bearish there for dollar CAD. And New Zealand dollar, same situation here as well. Expecting a lot more upside, but this was the area I wanted to see price tests, and looks like we're kind of missing that that entry as well. I'm sure there'll be more pullback opportunities later on, but the opportunity I'm looking at there doesn't look like it's gonna set up how I wanted it to. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with USD side of things. How the indices reacted, because last time I looked at them, they were looking very choppy. And now we're seeing some momentum to the downside. Okay, that's just still being very, very flat here. So US 30, I'm still waiting for price to either break the high or come back and retest the low for opportunities. I'm not really interested with us in the middle there. It looks like we're kind of just squeezing a bit of a wedge pattern, if you will, there. So it's been a very, very choppy situation there for US 30. And I would highly, highly advise not to trade inside of that wedge there. Not because you won't find a successful trade, you very much could do. It's just that the odds of you getting kind of wicked out and stopped out unnecessarily is far greater when you're trading conditions like that, rather than waiting for price to pull away or start to at least show some signs of momentum. And you can look to ride the momentum. But yeah, perfectly speaking, very, very bullish on US 30. So the opportunities I would be waiting for is the retest of the low here or the break of the high. That would be break and retest of the high. So that is what I'll be waiting for US 30, which I would expect to come around pretty soonish. But yeah, I've just got to wait and see. We've got some news this afternoon, so I wonder if that will be the catalyst to get things moving. We've got some more USD news tomorrow afternoon as well. PMI in the afternoon. Again, might see a bit of a more laid back reaction, but you never know. Sometimes the PMI can pack a punch. Yeah, Dow Jones US 30 expecting more upside. NAS 100 expecting more upside as well. This one has actually had a nice breakout, to be honest. I know it's kind of run into a bit of trouble right now as we've broken through the all-time highs there, but it's still left behind a very nice level for a buy. Should we see price come back and retest that, I think that's still a really nice place for a long. And of course, at least taking it back to where we came from, because all we were doing for NAS was just ranging between those highs and those lows. So now price has committed to the upside. That's a clear opportunity for us to see a lot more upside, given the fact that the trend is still very, very bullish, as we can see with the higher highs and higher lows. Should the market pull back to retest that level, 21,800, I would expect to see the market continue a lot higher. At the moment, we're just ranging right now, so I wouldn't look to do anything really unless we were to break the high of the range and then look to kind of follow that momentum afterwards. That could look like a nice opportunity as well. But we need to see that breakout initially before getting excited about that. But for now, I like the retest of the high at 21,847. This opportunity is kind of being put to bed. I don't want to see price break back in the range anymore. This opportunity only stood as we remained in the range. Now that we've broken out, I don't want to see us break back in, because that actually implies that we might actually break support rather than respect it. So now the only two opportunities that look good here for US 100 for NAS is the retest of the high or price coming back to retest that consolidation after breakout. But nonetheless, still very bullish for NAS. Again, if I zoom out to the daily chart, what do we have? Very much a bullish trending market here. So I only really focus on the buys until I start to see some clear evidence of price breaking structure and things changing direction. In terms of the S&P as well, this one, as I said yesterday, I think this is a very awkward position right now for the S&P, because if you look at how price has been moving, every time we do take out a high, we do push back down pretty aggressively. And I wonder, are we in the same boat? Are we going to do that situation, that scenario again, where price takes out a high and pushes down pretty aggressively, takes out a high, pushes down pretty aggressively, takes out a high, pushes down pretty aggressively? Is that going to happen again? It very much could do. So in terms of how the market's moving, I would be very skeptical in terms of buying where we are right now, because of what has been the theme of the past few highs prices created. For me to be more interested about the longs again, I need to see some really powerful momentum to the upside, and then that would say, okay, we're probably not going to break to the downside anymore. We'll kind of break into a new phase, and the market is very bullish again. Because you can see every time we do break the high, we have very corrective momentum, and then we sell off, corrective, sell off, and at the moment we have very corrective momentum as well, which is why I'm leaning towards that big sell-off again. But should that change quickly, again, maybe news this afternoon, or for whatever reason we push up very strongly, then that could give us some more confidence about some buys. If we do sell off, then it can actually present some nice opportunities, some nice longs. If we do push down, I've got a couple of areas which look good. This area being one, and this area being two, because we are still forming higher lows, despite the correctiveness of how we've been moving. Market is still putting higher lows in. So if we come back, respect structure, or this level, I would still expect price to maintain that higher low or form another one. So I still like S&P to the upside, but judging how price is moving, we're seeing very harsh retracements, very harsh reactions. I would look for a much greater pullback now for S&P. But yeah, as I mentioned with US 30 and NAS, zoom out, look at the bigger picture. What is price doing? It's in a very, very clear uptrend. So the focus is still buys. Of course, It's not going to go forever. It's going to eventually go for the retracement, but there's no point in trying to expect that because the odds of you predicting the top is just very, very slim from happening. And there's no need to do that anyway. You will have a lot of buying opportunities, a lot of bullish opportunities following the trend. And then when we do start to see signs of price turning around, then we can start looking to sell. But so far, still taking out highs. Yes, we're getting some signs that price is slowing down because every time we do take out the highs, we do see aggressive retracements. But the buys are still very much valid. So still looking at S&P 500, seeing a lot more upside. How is the UK 100 doing? Okay, so this one did have a nice move to the downside. So nice consolidation, broke the lows. So yeah, pullbacks actually look pretty good here for UK 100. Perhaps even the retest of that range there. If price can have a little bit more energy, come back to retest the range, that would be a nice place for an entry. Looking for the continuation of this bearish structure, simply because UK 100 has been bullish for quite a while, trend to the upside for quite a while. We've taken out the highs probably a couple of weeks ago now, at least. So I do think it's time for a bit of a retracement now. But yeah, FTSE still looking pretty bullish overall, but some nice counter trend structure, really nice drop there yesterday. So I think some pullbacks and some more downside looks pretty good. What's up, Carl? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are well. Dark Sean GJ started to pick up the pace a bit. Trade finally in 30 pips, 30 pips profit. Stop loss to break even. Now I can sit back, worries free. Okay, always a nice place to be in when risk is being removed. Then it's just up to the market to do its thing. So have we broken out that range then on the 5 minute? Okay, so yeah, we did break out the range. So I mean, it wasn't the best breakout in the world in terms of momentum, but it's definitely a breakout nonetheless, which is what we're looking for. So yeah, I would say now that prices has made its move to the downside, you don't necessarily want this position to become a loser anymore. I think going to stop loss to break even is a good call. And your target's back at the low, I presume, back at 188.814. But yeah, really nice break to the downside. And again, as I said earlier, if price can break below the range, that would be a strong signal that says, okay, the bears are back in town. And this is probably going to just be a lower high for us to continue falling because there's already a lot of momentum to the downside of pound yen. You know, been falling since yesterday, and there's been very clean, impulsive moves here on the 5 minute chart. So that illustrates to me that the bears are very much in control. So the fact that we were moving sideways here and consolidating was actually a bit more of a green flag in the current conditions because it meant that despite the momentum we had here, price is still failing to push on. And now we've kind of seen the bears take control. So hopefully we stay below that and keep pushing to the lows. Okay, to the low, 70 pips. Okay. Mate, so 70 pips looks like it's the magic number for pound yen on the 5 minute chart for you. 70 pips, the magic number. But yeah, looking really, really good there. I would expect more downside there for pound yen, even from a 4 hour chart. I'm very bearish on this one on the higher time frame. So I'm expecting a lot more downside, at least back into 187.5. So it's either price has a bigger retracement and then continues or just continues right now. But either which way, expecting us to end up back at that low at 187. So yeah, very, very bearish on pound yen. It looks like we're probably seeing a lot more of that soon. If nothing crazy happens, if volume picks up, I'll hold. Okay, hold for further than 70 pips. Okay, so past the swing low then. Do you have are you going to be targeting like a pip target, or like is there another like structural target you look at? So like a swing low or something, or are you going to have like a pip target? Like, so now instead of a 70 pips, you'll target 100 pips. What's the situation for that? Because on the 5 minute chart, I would say that low there looks pretty clear cut in terms of like an obvious target to have. But then looking to the left, there's not a lot of work, not a lot to work with. I mean, there's some prior resistance around here, but that pretty much lines up already with support over there on the left. Suppose support resistance down here as well. But I wouldn't say it's very, very clear cut, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, looking very bearish, and other yen pairs look like they're following suit. How's Euro yen doing? I mean, Euro yen's already hit support, hasn't it? Yeah, so I expect that one to keep bleeding as well. I mean, as long as we kind of keep up those lower time frame, lower lows and lower highs, we'll probably just end up hitting some new lows probably by the end of the week. I know today's already Thursday, but I think possibly by Friday we'll probably be breaking through the lows there, possibly with pound yen as well. I think CAD yen's pretty close to the lows. Pretty sure. Yeah, it's not far away from the lows either. I think Aussie and New Zealand got some work to do in terms of getting back to their lows. Not too far away, but that's got to push a little bit further. New Zealand yen, I mean, that's not too far away either. But yeah, these are a bit more corrective, so it hasn't been very clean. Anyway, I'll start to go through some of the crosses. I haven't gone through many of them yet. We had a look at Euro Aussie earlier, but we'll still go through some of the other crosses and some of the cap pairs as well. I haven't really looked at any of the cap pairs yet. Seas integrated 50 minutes intraday 50 minutes DXY. I want to short DXY 106.880 down to 106.6. What do you think? Just a short profit. I like it, short. Okay, let me have a look at the dollar then. I mean, things look very, very bearish on the lower time frame, so I like it in terms of the idea. In terms of the setup, let's drop to the 15 and have a look. See, so you're looking for 106.880, assume as your entry. So that's around there. Oh, on the money. And down to 1 point, not 1 point. I just got that in my head, 1 point, because of all the currency pairs. 106.600, which is pretty much the low down there. What do you think? Okay, where's your stop loss? Where's your stop loss for the position? Because that will kind of tie everything together. Because if your stop loss is going to be like here, for example, then yeah, it's going to be a bit of a risky position. If your stop loss is going to be above the high all over there, then of course not very risky, but risk to reward probably doesn't look quite great there. But of course, the probability of you catching a winner is a lot higher. So in terms of what I'm seeing with the 50-minute is, of course, a clear breakout of the trend line, the counter trend line. Price is being correctively moving to the upside. It's come back to retest this low here. It's reacted very aggressively, and since then it's broken the trend line. So in my book, I'll be expecting the DXY to get back down to retest the low there. Completely missed it. There we go. So I would be expecting price to get there. In terms of opportunities and entries, if I was looking to shorten the 15-minute chart, I'd probably be looking at the retest of the low here because it kind of lines up pretty well with the trend line as well, or at least close to anyway. And I can probably get myself a little stop loss above that high there. So I would be looking for something like that. So yeah, in terms of the dollar, I would be expecting more downside. 106.6 would be my target as well, expecting us to get to that low. So I like the targets. I like what you're looking at. In terms of entries, I'd probably be more focused around the 107.044 area, retesting some structure there and looking at a stop loss above that. And if that plays out, you're looking at a pretty decent risk reward as well. Something like this could be looking at a risk reward, 5+ potentially. But yeah, I would be pretty bearish looking at push to low since we got the break of the counter trend line. But yeah, I would be looking at a slightly bigger push before getting into a sell. Where was I? Stop loss 196.95. Oh, 106. I was confused for a second. 106.95. Okay, stop loss there. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the stop loss, just because it isn't really above a level of structure. Especially because your entry is kind of in an area of support with all of these areas here. So you can see multiple rejections of support down the left. And we're kind of in the area again. I mean, I do expect us to break through the support level. It's just in terms of how price does it, it might push up first before breaking the support level. So that very much could happen, and that could take you out for the L before price does go in your favor. So in terms of the entry and the stop loss, I would rather have it positioned up close to that area. Of course, will we get the pullback to that level? I don't know. Maybe price does just roll over. But of course, I can only give you my honest opinion of what I would look to do in this scenario. So I would be more fixated about this level 107.0504. Entries in this area, I don't see too much wrong with it. It's just the stop loss is just a bit vulnerable. If the stop loss could be a bit bigger, perhaps above that level, I would like that a lot more. But then I'll just wait for the price to get there so I can refine the entry and maximize the risk reward. So, yeah, not the biggest fan of the stop loss just because I don't really see much protection to it. I mean, it wouldn't be such a bad stop loss if price broke support aggressively and we were respecting as resistance. Then, of course, I would like that stop loss a little bit more. But because right now we're kind of testing support, breaking below it, breaking above it, price is kind of just unsure what it wants to do right now. In terms of direction, in terms of the TP, I very much like that, and I'm in agreement. But that's kind of where I'm at for USD on the 15. Darker Sean, normally if volume increases, then it would drop hard, although daily candle, it's already 180 pips. There is a good chance it will go to 250 between 300 pips, depends on the volume. Okay, I see. But yeah, I mean, having a good idea of how much your market moves in a given day is always a good piece of information, especially when you're looking for a swing, because okay, if the market's already moved, probably 80% of its typical range in a day, then maybe it's time to start closing that position, especially if the market's moved more than the average size as well. If the average daily candle is like 100 pips or whatever, and it's moved 150, well, you're probably at the end of that candle. So it's probably best to either look to fade the move, so you go against the direction of the candle, or look to take your profits if you've been trading in that direction. But of course, there will be bigger days. Of course, the thing about an average, it means on average. Just because the average daily candle is 100 doesn't mean it can't be 200, because there will be times where it is 200 or even 300. Depends on the markets you're looking at, of course. Um, but it is a piece of information you can use to your arsenal, in terms of, okay, we've already seen the market moved its expected amount. Maybe I should be a bit careful about holding onto a position, um, or of course, potentially looking at the opposite direction. Alfonso, pound yen hit 150 pips. 4 a.m. in my sleep, but wish I set TP higher. Could have been 250 pips this morning. Yeah, I mean, again, you always have that situation where price hits your TP, but then price continues going in your favor. You're like, oh, I wish I closed a little bit later, or if I didn't have a take profit. Because there's been times for me as well where prices got to my target, but because I forgot to put a TP, um, I woke up and price has gone like an extra 50 pips in my direction. So it's an extra 50 pips of profit, which of course you weren't necessarily planning to take, but of course the situation arises. And of course the other side has happened as well, where you don't have a TP, it's hit your take profit, but then you wake up and price is already retraced half. And instead of closing for 3R, you close for 1.5R. So it's gone both ways in the past. But the way I look at it is, in terms of trading, you've got entries, you've got targets, you've got stop loss. In terms of the whole trade, your approach to trading, you're trading an edge, which is, okay, I'm expecting price to go from A to B. And if price does go from A to B, your edge is played out. Congratulations, take your profit on to the next trade. If price goes further than B, then that's just something out of your expectation. And of course, it would be nice to take advantage of that extra pips, but on the other side of the coin, there'll be times where price hits your B, but then goes back against you, like I just mentioned as well. So in hindsight, it's always best to take your profit wherever you planned it. You can always leave some positions to trail and to run, um, if you're looking for some extended targets or you expect this to go further, but you want to respect your original targets because, again, that's where you find consistency and that's where your edge lies as well. Trying to take it further than B or wherever can affect your edge in the long run. No problem. Happy to help. Season integrated. Yeah, again, that's just my 2 pence. It's just because of where you're based out with the entry and the stop loss. I think it's a bit vulnerable, so I would wait for price to retrace. But the funny thing is that you could wait for the retracement to these areas, but you might just not get the retracement. That's the thing about waiting for price to come back up and hit some levels is that we don't always see those moves. So taking the entry here where momentum's in your favor sometimes can be the better move because if there's just a lot of momentum in the market, you don't see that retracement. So the only way to trade it would be to take more aggressive trades like this. But of course, just how I trade, I'm always waiting for price to go against the runner play first. So I can find entries and then take the trade back in the original direction. So this is where I'll like to take the trade. There's no guarantee price gets there. If we do get there, great, can find some entries. If we don't, then yeah, on to the next setup. What's up, Chris? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. How's the market been treating you? Okay. Okay. Took a couple of wins, but at the moment, Aussie Chef is not playing ball at all. I'm in some drawdown at the moment. It's very, very close to my stop loss. Probably is going to go and hit it, but I'll let it do its thing. There's not much I can do at this point in time. I took the entry last week, Wednesday, so it's been over a week now since I've been in the position. But yeah, it's been a slow bleed for Aussie Chef. So we'll see how that one does develop. But technically, it's still holding my confidence. So the trade is still valid. But if it does break through that resistance at the top there, of course, my stop loss is just above it. So I will exit the trade. But yeah, that's the only position I'm in. I've been looking at a lot of the yen pairs, USD pairs, but unfortunately missed quite a few trades. Well, I didn't miss the trades. I don't like saying that word. I only say miss the trade if I had an entry and I just didn't take the trade. That's a missed trade. If the market moves without me, then there's nothing I can do unless I come up with a new strategy, which is a whole different ball game. But yeah, the yen pairs have kind of left me in the dust a little bit. USD pairs haven't retraced enough as well. So yeah, haven't really got any entries for those pairs at the moment. Wasn't expecting it to close so quickly. Wanted to wake up and put stop loss and profit. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, again, that's the yen pairs for you. They can pick up the pace at any moment in time, especially during the night as well. Many times I've woken up and the yen pairs have moved 100 plus pips. Holy One, you're my 5-minute M5 indicator on DXY are now up for pullback, then drop depending on the news. Okay, yeah, that's another factor to play, and we've got some news this afternoon as well, so I need to watch out for that. Tobogo, what is up? Hey, Tobogo, that's same name as the Botswanan sprinter. Big fan of his. Please check Aussie CAD if it's a reversal on the full hour. Okay, we'll have a look. See. So yeah, this one's been a bit of a head scratcher to me. I've been looking at sales for Aussie CAD, and we have seen a bit of downside, but it hasn't really amounted to much. I think Aussie and New Zealand might be a little bit strong. Where's the channel? There we are. So we've been moving in this channel for quite a while, and looks like price is trying to break out of the channel. And it may have actually done so already. Yeah, it's broken out the channel. So I've been looking for price to continue to the downside. The original plan was looking for another lower high and a continuation back into the low here. Oh, that is a horrendous line. Let me do that again. Back into the line there. There we go. So that has been the original plan there for Aussie CAD, but price kind of corrected and stayed within this upper end of the channel, and that's broken to the upside. So I wonder, is this an impulse for correction for possibly another impulse to the upside? That could be the case. Quite frankly, I just want to see more information for Aussie CAD before actually putting out a setup. The bias for me overall is still pretty bearish. Excuse me. Excuse me there. So yeah, price, I'm still pretty bearish for price, looking for a push into that low there. That's still very much the plan. Since we did break through this counter trend line a while ago, I've been looking for price to sell off, and that's still what I'm expecting. However, the way that is forming, it's not what I've expected. I was expecting price to pick up the pace and continue, but now that we've been very flat, now look pushing back to highs. I wonder, is this going to form a bit of a trend and perhaps a reversal, as you mentioned? It could do, but I need more information before I start pushing that. Before I start looking at that as an opportunity. So if price can break the highs aggressively and have a pullback, I may look at some smaller counter trend trades back to the high here, or whatever the high forms. I wouldn't be looking for anything bigger than that because we still do have that break of that counter trend. So I'll still be bearish bias, but perhaps there might be some nice shorter term long opportunities to look at to take it back into the high there at 0.91. So I am pretty bearish bias for Aussie CAD overall, but there's just no clear short at the moment, especially with the break of the channel. There might be some longs gearing up soon in the next few days. So yes, there might be a reversal, but I need more information. We haven't broken through any key bearish structure to tell me that this is a reversal. Yes, we're breaking at the channel, but even the breakout was very minimal and lacks momentum. So like we just blown to the upside of a lot of momentum. That will be something else. This is a very half-hearted breakout too. And I wonder is price coming back to retest resistance to potentially sell off from there as well. So it could be, but I need to see something like this to happen before I start thinking about buys with Aussie CAD. So it potentially could be, but I'm not sold just yet. So yeah, I need a bigger move. Then I'll look at the possibility of a reversal, but not quite there. I'll see Jeff running the GJ trade every day for a week. Every day for over a week, we'd all gather in the stream and check where it's all at daily regular pages. So yeah, it's literally the same situation. And both of them as well, negative swaps as well. If there's positive swaps, it would be a lot better, but both negative. So both very annoying. That's some of the downside about, of course, um, holding swings for a longer time, especially entering the higher time frames as well, is that you can get caught in some very, very awkward situations and price just kind of consolidate on you. So, yeah, I mean, again, you could look to exit early. But of course, if you do exit early, that does affect the edge of it does affect your edge because there will be some trades where they do consolidate, yet they do still become profitable and see follow through. There's many times where price gets very, very close to my stop loss just to turn around as well. So exiting early, although puts your kind of pain to ease, sometimes it can be a bit more painful. But yeah, it is not fun. It is not fun. No problem, Tobago. Happy to help. Chris took CTFJ short yesterday and left it overnight. TV was hit before I woke up. Nice. That's always a great position to be in when you wake up. It's also nice. It's nice. Good morning. It's like the market. It's like the market just waking up saying good morning. Glad to have you back on the charts. Here's a little gift. Yeah, in the past I've had many of them 90 pip drawdown and still trying to hold. Yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted, I'll tell you that for free. It's not for the faint-hearted. But yeah, that's some of the the realities of trading on a 4-hour chart. And looking to swing positions, and you can imagine, holding on the daily or weekly chart as well. That's just insane as well. But again, there's benefits and pros to both, but that is definitely one of the downsides when you get caught in that consolidation. And it's been over a week, and I think I'm pretty sure pound yen was like 2 weeks at some point. It might even be more than that. But yeah, into that Aussie Chef on Wednesday, and it's Thursday now, so it's been over a week. Okay, so let me go through some of the CAD pairs also on the topic. So Aussie CAD, not feeling that one at all. New Zealand CAD, not feeling this one either as well. Similar situation. We got caught in this channel, and kind of waiting for price to make a move, really, because it's either we're going to continue in the channel or not. It's either price is going to give us the swing back to the downside, or we're actually getting ready for potentially a breakout. If we're going to follow what Aussie CAD has done, then it would be the break to the upside, but we're still lacking a lot of bullish momentum at the moment. I mean, I'm not enthusiastic about the sells at all. It was a nice rejection at the high here when it happened, but we just haven't seen much follow through. So I haven't really been looking at New Zealand CAD much. We've broken through some major structure as well, which is maybe very, very bearish on the market. I'm still looking for a push back into the low here at 0.797. So that's still I'm expecting price to end up. But yeah, not with this momentum. We need to pick up the pace from somewhere. And if not, perhaps we do break to the upside. But I would not be looking to find any entries now. It's not looking clear. Likewise with Aussie CAD, not looking clear at all. So that's annoying me. There we go. So yeah, not really a big fan of New Zealand CAD. I am bearish. That's my overall directional bias. But in terms of a good setup, I do not have one at all. In terms of the other CAD pairs, so pound CAD, what's been up with this one? So I'm not really a big fan of pound CAD either. Overall, it's a bullish market, but we're still kind of stuck in this range, equal highs, equal lows. So I haven't really been looking to trade this one. I'm waiting for either us to retest the high and short, or retest the long and buy, retest the long and buy, retest the support and buy. Or, of course, breakouts in either direction would interest me as well. But I'm not trying to get involved in the middle here, because that's where just price seems to be fluctuating quite a lot. Yeah, so I'm not too sure about pound CAD. I know we respect some support here on the left, but yeah, don't really have clear levels to work with or a clear setup there either. In terms of Euro CAD, this one's a similar situation to pound CAD as well. Just very flat market. Ranging quite a lot there on the higher time frames. Could also include this as an important low as well. But yeah, with EuroCAD, don't really know what to expect with this one. I can see we're retesting some lows there. We're holding on pretty well. Perhaps we're getting ready for a move to the upside. If we're going to continue this bullish structure, low, high, low, high, low, high. But yeah, just not a big fan of how we're moving right now. So EuroCAD, I am just gonna let price do its thing. Funds always do risk management max 2% of balance. Yeah, of course you want to have your rules in place in terms of how much risk you're going to take. I think a good thing to look at is also reducing your risk if you go through a big period of drawdown as well. Also, something that's kind of outside of your parameters of your trading strategy. For example, if you have like a 50% win rate, 1 to 2 risk to reward. If suddenly you catch yourself in a losing streak of like 15 plus trades, where clearly yeah, that is still technically a part of the probabilities. It could happen, but you're probably been in a bit of a slump then. So at 2% risk, you probably want to reduce that to probably 1% risk, and you can always increase later onwards as well. But yeah, you want to have those rules of, okay, max risk per trades, and also max loss on the account as well, especially if you've got a live account with your own personal capital. You want to know, okay, where's the cutoff point? Where's the point where I actually just stop trading and I kind of reflect and review what's going on? Of course, for some people that could be the whole account. So if there's still money in the account, I'm still trading. Um, but if you put some decent sized money in account and something which you don't want to lose as well, you do want to have that cutoff point, 30%, 50%, whatever that is. Of course, with a personal account, you have a bit more leeway. Um, wouldn't be so aggressive if it was, if you were managing, professional, um, capital. But you want to have those rules set. Max risk per trade, max loss in a week or a month, and just max loss overall. Have those in place. So whatever happens, you know exactly. Okay, worst possible scenario, 30% down on account. I shut all my trades down, reflect, and go from there. Holy One H4 is a great time frame. All my trades are really based on that time frame. It gives me the clearest indicator signals as to where the market is potentially heading. Yeah, I mean, 4 hour time frames where I focus a lot of my attention as well. 4 hour and the daily chart as well. Focus a lot of my efforts on those time frames. Again, I feel like for everyone as well, even if you are a very intraday trader, I feel like paying attention to the 4 hour chart and even the daily chart as well can provide a lot of clarity. Um, in the market, because if you're basing your directional bias on like 5 minute charts, that's fine as well. But 5 minute is a lot of fluctuation. There's a lot of just erratic behavior. And if you can base it on a daily or a 4 hour chart, it's a bit more slowed down. There's a bit more kind of cleanness to the market because you encompass a lot of the data within one daily candle or one 4 hour candle. So you can be a lot more trustworthy of those candlesticks. 5 minute candlestick is just representing price fluctuating within a 5 minute window, which again can be very spontaneous. So even if you are on the lower time frames, use the high time frames to get a general narrative of the market. There's nothing wrong with basing trades in the 5 minute chart or the 1 minute chart if you want to. It's not for me, but hey, if that tickles your fancy, go for it. But if you can have some understanding of the higher time frames, that can very much complement. I was going to say complement your trades in terms of bias, and of course in terms of holding trades for longer as well. If you know that, okay, I'm on the 5 minute chart, potentially this could go a bit further because the higher time frames look pretty bearish as well. That gives you an extra kind of layer to your trades as well. Cease integrated, DXY reaching 107.04 soon. Okay, let's have a look at that. DXY, what are we doing? Let's drop to the old 5 minute chart. Okay, so seeing some retracement. So yeah, it is approaching that level. So yeah, I would keep an eye. Let me get to the 15, sorry, not 5. So yeah, keep an eye on 107.0504. That's where I would be looking at entries, especially because you've got all these lower highs here on the left. So you can see all those lower highs there on the lower time frame. Price is probably going to go up and take all those highs out, and then that will give you the liquidity to see a nice move in your direction. So yeah, I think that level is looking really good. Of course, we need to see how price reacts with it. Potentially, I don't know, the news could come out this afternoon and we start absolutely flying to the upside. So you want price to get there, slow down, provide some wicks, some bearish engulfing candles, and that would be a very nice place for an entry. And I think a good target, good initial target is back to this area here, clear level of support where price is respected on numerous occasions. So this would be a nice place to target. And then you can leave some positions to run back into the low there, and that becomes a very good risk reward opportunity as well. And yeah, just a nice opportunity in general because you can put a stop loss in a relatively safe place, and you can put your entry in a relatively safe place as well. So yeah, I would keep a close eye on that. But of course, watch out for the news in the afternoon as well. Still holding pound CAD, nice holy one. Alfonso Had a bad November, cut risk. Main trade 2%, like silver anymore, just 1%. Yeah, again, don't be afraid to lower the risk, especially if you're trading with real money in your live account. Um, lower the risk, lower the risk. If things are not going well, you're not really confident, you're just not really feeling a good rhythm at the moment, and you're taking a few more losses than you expected. Of course, within reason, if you took 3 losses in a row, that's very much a very occurring theme for any trader. So you don't want to just take a couple losses and just lower the risk suddenly, because then you kind of skew things up. But if you're in a very bad slump and taking excessive losses, then lower the risk, because at the end of the day, if you keep the risk high, the bleed's going to be just as fast. You want to cut the bleeding, and then you can always increase risk later. That's the key thing. You don't want to lower risk and then keep it low. The idea is to lower risk to stop the bleeding, and then you can increase the risk to make back your gains. But when you're in a bad place, the number one important thing is not making money. It's just not losing more money. If you can stop that, then you're in a good place. Well, in a better place anyway. Why don't you take GU sales as you wanted to come down? Um, I want G to come down because I'm looking for the retracement to buy it. I'm very bullish on pound USD. I'm not bearish. I wanted to come down for a retracement, but that's not my setup. My setup is the buys. Again, I don't trade because I think price is going to go in direction. I trade because I'm trading based on a pattern. And I'm waiting for that pattern to form to take a trade. If it doesn't form, there is no trade. I'm not going to trade for the price action to form, because that's not what I've tested. Vincent, euro pound, sure, I will take a look as well. You're long, okay, we'll have a look. See, yeah, exactly. That's the correct response, Hoodie One. I'm looking to buy it, so I want it to retrace. I'm not going to sell it there, because that's not a move I've studied. I've studied the move going up, which is the buy I'm looking for. Whether price makes that retracement or not is none of my business. I'm just waiting for price to get there. Nice, good going, Afonso. Good going. And I think that's the hardest bit about trading as well, is coming out of the slump as well. Because when trading is going well and you're taking good wins and you're in a nice rhythm, trading is trading. You feel good. You're happy to get to the markets every day. But when you go through that losing streak, that's where kind of it makes or breaks the trader. Because some people, their rules will fly out the window and start doing crazy stuff. And that's gonna break you. But the traders who can stay consistent during the losing periods are the traders who will really excel. Okay, so euro pound, you said you've gone long. It's an aggressive one because the market is still pretty bearish here. I know we're coming back into some really big support in higher time frames, but we've been falling for a while, so the trend is very much down. I understand we're coming to some areas of support where we could definitely turn around, and that is true. But I'd wait for price to start giving some bullish structure first before looking to buy. So higher highs and higher lows first, and then look for the opportunity in that regard. At the moment, I can see we are approaching some nice support here, so looking to go long off that makes a lot of sense. But my biggest advice would not be too greedy in terms of the move, because we very much could still be on our way down before pushing up. And this range here, which gave us that sell, that could be the area which gives us another sell. So I would watch out as we get to 0.831. I'm not too sure where your targets are for euro pound, but that is an area which I would be a bit careful at. Like I said, I understand that we're coming to some big areas on the higher time frames, particularly the monthly chart, where things can definitely turn around 100%. But the trend on the weekly daily chart, did not need to do that, is still very much down, and that could keep falling until we get back to the lows, which are back at this double bottom around 0.822. So I would be a bit careful of that. It's a nice lower at, really strong move to the upside. But as we approach this area, we could just see another lower high form and continue being pretty bearish. So watch out for that. All the L's are taken just when I didn't follow my high time ratio. So often trades I speak with low time frame trading is not advisable and reasons this isn't sustainable. Yeah, I would agree as well. I think it's a lot harder to trade in low time frames, just in general. There's a lot more to take into account, um, and to watch out for. I think higher time frame is a little bit easier. I say that in I don't know what the right word is for that, but it's not necessarily easy, isn't it? Or so easy, I'm just making a bunch of money. But no, I think it's just easy in terms of um, spreads don't become really an issue, really, if you enter in the higher time frames. News becomes less of an issue, potentially, depends what time frame you're entering, it could become hardly an issue. Um, you're more focused with the higher time frames, which is the general thesis of the market, of what you expect the market to do. And overall, price action is more trustworthy as well, because in a daily candle, it takes into consideration so much information to form one daily candle, and that can be a lot more trustworthy. So a bullish engulfing candle is a lot more trustworthy in the daily than it is on the 1 minute chart. Not to say that you can't make money in the lower time frames, but it's just there's a lot more in your favor on the higher. So even if you're going to trade in the lower, use the higher time frames to your advantage, because there's information there. You might be trading on the 5 minute chart, but doesn't mean you don't have to neglect the daily or neglect the 4 hour or even the weekly as well. Yeah, of course. I agree. I agree. No problem, guys. Happy to help. But we have reached the end of the stream. I will be live again later today, actually, with Trader Nick. So if you guys are free, pop in, say hi on his channel. I will be live with him and with Marco as well, discuss some of the market, see what happens with the news later this afternoon. I will be live again tomorrow, as always, on my channel. So if you're free tomorrow, pop in, say hi, let's have a chat, see what's happening. Hopefully, some new entries can be available on the USD pairs. That's really where my focus is now. So hopefully, you can find some entries there. I'll let you guys know on the Telegram. We'll probably post it on the Discord as well. So if you're not in the Elevating Trades Discord, check it out. Link in the description to that, and also the top of the chat. Completely free to join. And of course, you can find out a lot more information about elevating traders if you are interested. But guys, really do appreciate you tuning in. If you have enjoyed the stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. As I said, I'll be live again tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So if you're free, tune in, say hi, and we'll see what's going on in the markets. But guys, I really appreciate you coming on. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.